Welcome to the Faith-Based Christian Channel.
Jesus asked, "Can ye not discern the signs of the times?"
Subscribe to the Faith-Based Christian Channel today.
Ever wonder how an idea born almost 2,000 years ago in North Africa can travel through time, across continents, and still be shaping communities in modern-day Tanzania? It's an absolutely incredible journey, and it all revolves around one powerful concept: grace. Okay, let's dive into this story.
So here's the question at the very heart of it all. Is salvation something you work for, a reward you earn, or is it a gift you just receive? Now, it might sound simple, but believe me, this question sparked one of the biggest debates in the history of Western thought. And the answer? Well, it's still shaping faith and communities for millions of people today.
Now, the story we're following isn't just pulled out of thin air. It's actually grounded in some really solid research, a dissertation from Baraka Haramba at Uganda Christian University. His work looks at the real-world impact of this ancient idea on the Anglican Church in Tanzania, so we get a direct look at how this concept is alive and kicking right now.
To really understand this journey, we have to start with the main idea itself. The concept that one man, a bishop, from what is now Algeria, championed with every fiber of his being.
Okay, so what is grace? The concept is actually pretty simple on the surface. Grace isn't something you can earn with good behavior or by trying really hard to be moral. The research calls it a gratuitous favor, a free assistance from God. It's a pure gift, no strings attached. And this very idea became the life's work of a theologian named Augustine of Hippo.
So let's meet our main character, Augustine of Hippo. He lived way back in the 4th and 5th centuries, an absolutely brilliant thinker who, after let's say a wild youth, converted to Christianity and became a bishop. But he was basically forced to figure out exactly what he believed about grace because of this huge controversy that was sweeping through the church.
And listen, this was not just some dusty theological squabble. The debate was about the very core of what it means to be human. Are we born fundamentally good, with the built-in capacity to be righteous all on our own? Or is our nature kind of flawed from the get-go, making us completely dependent on help from the outside? The whole debate really boiled down to two opposing views. On one side, you've got this monk named Pelagius. He argued that humans are born neutral, totally capable of choosing to do good and earning their own salvation. For him, grace was like a helpful tool, nice to have, but not essential. But on the other side was Augustine. He argued with incredible passion that original sin has corrupted human nature, leaving our will in bondage to sin. And because of that, divine grace isn't just helpful, it is absolutely necessary. Without it, we're lost.
This quote from Augustine's own memoir, The Confessions, just shows you how personal this was for him. He wasn't just arguing some abstract point. He was talking about his own life. He genuinely believed that even the desire or the ability to obey God was itself a gift of grace. So the big takeaway here is, for Augustine, salvation was 100% God's initiative, from start to finish.
Okay, so Augustine's view eventually wins the debate, and his idea becomes a cornerstone of Western Christianity. But how in the world did it travel from 4th century North Africa all the way to 21st century East Africa? Well, that journey is a story in itself.
The idea's journey kicks off with Augustine, of course. Then it jumps forward to the 16th century English Reformation, where the reformers were huge fans of his work. Fast forward again to the 19th century, when missionaries from the Church Missionary Society, or CMS, bring this Anglican version of Christianity to what we now call Tanzania. And that brings us right up to today, where the Anglican Church of Tanzania is living with and adapting this very same legacy. And the key vehicle for this whole handoff was a document called the 39 Articles. You can almost think of it as the doctrinal DNA of Anglicanism. The sections on original sin and justification by faith, they sound like they were lifted straight from Augustine's arguments. This document cemented his idea of unmerited grace right into the core of the Anglican tradition that would one day take root in Tanzania.
And that brings us to the present. The whole focus of the dissertation we're exploring is how this ancient doctrine of grace is being put to work today by the Anglican Church in Tanzania to deal with some very modern theological challenges.
Okay, challenge number 1 is something called legalism. This is basically the ghost of Pelagius coming back to haunt us, that old idea that you can be good enough for salvation if you just follow all the rules perfectly. It turns faith into a kind of spiritual checklist, a prize to be won instead of a gift to receive.
The second challenge is the prosperity gospel. This teaching really reframes what grace is all about.
It suggests that faith and grace are transactional tools you can use to get material wealth and good health. It kind of shifts the whole focus from a deep spiritual reality to a way to get ahead in the world, which is a major departure from the traditional understanding.
And the third challenge is syncretism. Now, what the dissertation points to specifically is the blending of Christian faith with traditional practices like ancestral mediation. This becomes a challenge to the Augustinian view because that view says grace flows directly and only from God through Christ. Introducing other potential mediators really complicates that.
So how does the church respond to all this? By going right back to Augustine's foundational idea. It's amazing, really. The doctrine of grace offers a direct answer to every single one of these challenges. Against legalism, it hammers home that grace is an unmerited gift. Against the prosperity gospel, it defines grace as a spiritual reality, not a material one. And against syncretism, it affirms that grace comes from God alone. It's this powerful and incredibly relevant theological toolkit.
So we've traced this one single idea from an ancient debate all the way to a modern African church. But let's be real. Why does this specific story matter to the rest of us?
Because this is such a powerful example of something universal. This story shows us that ancient wisdom isn't just some dusty thing you put in a museum. No, it can be a living, breathing resource that helps communities figure out who they are, strengthen their values, and navigate the really complex pressures of our modern world.
And that kind of leaves us with a final thought to chew on. The journey of grace, from Augustine's world to today's Tanzania, is just an incredible testament to the staying power of ideas. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other ancient concepts are just waiting out there, waiting to be rediscovered and find new life in our own communities today?
Subscribe to the Faith-Based Christian channel today, and let's grow our faith together in these last days. The King is at the door.